Blessings from all of us at Black Moon Publishing and Bait Cabal. This is a conjure to request St. Roch's intercession in mutating coronavirus 19 to a form of coronavirus, benign in its effect on our species and upon all sentient beings. First of all, honor and respect to our ancestors, to the spirits of this land, to all the Loas and Buddhas, and to all the saints and deities with whatever names they wear. This is my home temple. Before me is the mirror I use for expeditions, visions, and experiments. Right here, this is a drum. We've got drums. I'm a drummer. The drums are altars. We will be dancing on the surface of this mirror. This is the mirror that I use in most of my magics, most of the conjures. A bit of background. St. Roch is a protector from plagues and is widely honored and called upon in New Orleans spirituality in general, and in voodoo, in New Orleans voodoo in particular. His intercession will be conjured using words, shared images of St. Roch Cemetery, the now closed chapel, the reliquary, and drum rhythms. After a short introduction and a preliminary preparation, healing for all of us, the conjure will move us through the St. Roch Cemetery into the chapel and reliquary. Photographs will be presented to help us in our movement through St. Roch Cemetery. The conjure will culminate in the ringing of the bell in the chapel and exiting. As the sound of the chapel bell fades, coronavirus 19 will evolve into a form benign in its effect on our particular species and on all sentient beings. A virus is a form sometimes described as living and sometimes described as a mere mechanism. In conversation, Nima once said to me that she believes that all that exists lives. All that exists lives. I agree and would add that all life is interdependent and as such has a will toward manifesting in a manner befitting all other forms of life. So what we want is to have it befitting and benefiting all other forms of life. As such, we are moving the virus in an evolutionary direction more in line with its true will. Our emphasis here avoids the expenditure of energy on needless conflict. The virus has 30,000 letters in its genome. On the average, there are about 2 changes per month in its genome. Most of the changes don't affect how the virus behaves, but a few may change the disease's transmissibility or severity. That's from Science magazine, Science American Association for the Advancement of Science, July 14th. It is these few which may change the disease's transmissibility or severity that we target in our conjure. Often changes on a very small level are magically easier to effect than changes involving large masses. So we're working on a very small level. A history of St. Roch. In 1867, the Reverend Peter Leonard Thieves, a German Roman Catholic priest, arrived in New Orleans. The yellow fever was raging in New Orleans, and he asked St. Roch for his intercession. St. Roch is recognized by the Roman Catholic Church as a patron saint whose intercession is beneficial in plagues and in epidemics. Reverend Thieves promised that if no one in the parish died from the epidemic, he would build a chapel in honor of St. Roch. No one died from the fever in either the epidemic of 1867 or the one in 1878. To give thanks, Reverend Thieves built a chapel as a shrine and a cemetery as a final resting place for his parishioners. St. Roch gains its name in 1867 with the dedication of the St. Roch Shrine and Cemetery. It's 1867. Personally, in that Dr. John Martinié historically is buried in St. Roch Cemetery. I see St. Roch as the guardian of Dr. John's bones. As such, the saint and good doctor together make a powerful pair. A preparation and healing of the pilgrims. St. Roch is a pilgrim. His wide brim hat is that of a pilgrim. Now we join him in pilgrimage. We are entering a holy place. This is the time to prepare ourselves through a healing of whatever self is manifesting from our collection of selves at this moment. There is no difference if that self is happy, sad, fearful, grasping at something, or pushing something away. There is no sense in waiting for a better time. Better and worse are two sides of the same coin, and that coin flips with amazing rapidity. This is something I have definitely noticed, and I'm sure that you've noticed too. We are pilgrims in this conjure, and the word pilgrim's etymology includes the Latin word for foreign. We are all strangers in a strange land. We are foreigners seeking an open path. It may be best to look to our elders and teachers for direction to this open path. So we look to our elders and our teachers. Priest Ashwan Shamani of the New Orleans Voodoo Spiritual Temple, Priestess Miriam's Healing Center, explained to me that healing was needed to the extent that an individual saw themselves as separate from their highest sense of spirit. To the extent that an individual saw themselves as separate from their highest sense of spirit. This highest spirit we are separate from could be a teacher, a Loa, a goddess, a god, a friend, a parent, Christ, Allah, Yahweh, Buddha, one's true self, no matter. We now have a groundwork from a great teacher with which to work. Honor and respect to Priest Ashwan Shamani. Honor and respect to all those upon whose shoulders we stand. Now, create a path to your highest sense of self, to your highest sense of spirit. Approach this great spirit with whatever self you wear at the moment. See yourself walking on the path, approaching this great spirit. Look at this spirit. See. Feel this spirit. Touch. Listen to this spirit. Hear. Is there a taste? Explore the inside of your mouth. Let this high spirit enter your tongue, your taste buds. How does your body feel as you approach your highest sense of spirit? Is it light or is it heavy? Embrace this great spirit. The separation from our highest sense of spirit has decreased. Whatever self we wear at this moment is the perfect pilgrim self for us, the perfect pilgrim self. There is healing in this acceptance. There is no need to fix or change anything. We begin the conjure. There is a gateway before us. We approach the gate of St. Roch Cemetery and make an offering. We rub our hands together to produce heat. We offer this warmth to all within the cemetery, to all the deads, to all the living beings within, to all the spirits of this ground. We open the gate. We walk through the gate into the cemetery. On our left is a water spout in a basin. The basin is green, teeming with life. This green life is blessing the water from which it drinks. We turn the spout. The water splashes a bit, then cascades into the green life below. Our hands move and enter the falling water. The water is cold on such a warm Louisiana day. As we offered warmth, heat, fire to enter the cemetery, we now offer water mixed with the doings that ride upon our hands. The water flows through our hands, seeking the lines of fate that mark these hands. It flows to the green life below and through this life to all with whom this life speaks to within the cemetery. We press our hands onto the stone before us. The lines within our hands imprint themselves upon the stone's thirsty surface. This is a signature. This is our name. This is our name beyond words and the destiny that it holds. This is our passport. We turn and walk to the center aisle. Our feet are heavy, planted on and in the earth. We are rooted in the earth on which we stand. We are supported, upheld by the ancestors whose bodies lie upon and within this earth. We gather strength. We gather strength from our connection to all those who have gone before. We bow our head 3 times to the ancestors, to those whose names are remembered, to those whose names are remembered, to those whose names are forgotten, to those whose bones lie upon and within this land. As we bow to the ancestors bow to us. It is through this exchange that we gather the strength to continue our pilgrimage. We walk forward to the statue positioned in the center of the aisle leading to the chapel. This is the petrified girl of New Orleans folklore. There is a lightness in her presence that transcends the cold stone of her body. The air surrounding her face radiates an innocence grounded in, depended upon, and brought into balance by the relentless solidity of her body. This is the innocence that arises from choice and blossoms into the infinite possibilities inherent in life. Camus, in The Plague, best described the essence of this choice. In a world where there is plague and there is the victim, we proclaim our allegiance to the victim and not the disease. We do not fall into the pit with the plague. We do not worship the plague as some small god that demands an offering of our undivided attention, lest it, in an unguarded moment, harm us. We uphold the victim, and in so doing, we proclaim our innocence. The innocence that supports the choice to do the impossible. We move our hands to her head. We move our hands to her head. Our palms both give and receive the pure light of this innocence. Now we walk to the chapel before us. There are tombs on either side of us as we walk toward the chapel. We hold our hands out to the left and to the right as we walk. Air flows upon our open hands and onto the tips of our fingers. A touch, a slight tingle. Our passage is secure. We walk to the chapel and stand in the open door. The chapel is open to us now. We, in turn, best be open to the chapel. All that is in it, we will be open to all that is in it. How do we create this openness? At the New Orleans Voodoo Spiritual Temple, tourists and practitioners would come and want to see the temple. Priestess Miriam would at times ask me to take them through. Before entering the temple with them, I would tell them that the temple itself, this temple, is more the priestess than the body that they saw in the other room. This is her essence. This is Priestess Miriam, this temple. I would tell them to show honor and respect, and that this is the priestess's body. This honor and respect is the name our openness to the chapel and all within wears. This honor and respect to the chapel ensures our openness and is its sacrament. We knock on the sidewood 3 times. With the first knock, we alert all within the chapel to our presence. We call their attention to our presence. With the second knock, we ask that we may enter. We ask that we may enter the chapel. With the third knock, we give thanks as we enter. On our right is a font blessed by offerings of pennies. We join those who left these offerings as we enter the chapel. We walk up the aisle toward St. Roch, counting our steps. So many others have taken these same steps. So many have asked for the intercession of St. Roch in cures. Each step that we take is a person. One by one, they walk with us. Their number multiplies no difference. We all have need, and there is help here. To our right is a holy place, the reliquary of the chapel, a place of joining, a place in which our request and the help it will receive is mixed with the requests and offerings of others. It is here the help they received and the help we will receive from St. Roch is blended in the vast cauldron of time and place. We enter the reliquary. We find community. We stop for a time. We join with the images of the offerings before us. Once separate, we all now walk to the altar of St. Roch. We are one as pilgrims. It is here our pilgrimage has reached a critical point. Before us is St. Roch. We see him through many, many eyes, through the eyes of all the pilgrims who walk with us. We see you, St. Roch, through the eyes of all the pilgrims who walk with us. We make our request, and the words echo with the requests of all those who have gone before. Saint Roch, hear my heart, hear my hand, hear my mind, hear my words. We are suffering and would be healed. With our hands in yours, the coronavirus back to a benign form. With our hands in yours, the coronavirus back to a benign form. With our hands in yours, the coronavirus back to a benign form. We turn quickly and move to the bell rope hanging by the doorway. The rough, twisted fibers of the rope impress themselves upon our hand, a firm grasp, followed by a sharp pull. No words here. The sound of the bell ringing clearly carrying the purpose of our pilgrimage into the world. As the sound of the chapel bell fades, coronavirus 19 begins its evolution into a form benign in its effect on our particular species and on all sentient beings.